Hello, this is Arcades, and welcome to another how-to video here on Stormworks Build and Rescue. And if you remember last time, I did a video about the bar segments. Now I want to go on the instrument panel, and now I want to go over the one last piece, and that is the 7-segment section on the instrument panel. It uses some of the same techniques, some of the same info. However, it definitely is its own different beast. So yeah, we're going to take a look at that. I'm even going to show you how you can make a digital display out of it. So yeah, so hope you enjoy watch. Hope you like what you see. If you do, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Helps the channel out immensely. And yeah, let's get into this. Okay. As I said, we are looking at the 7-segment of the instrument panel. Before we get into what I've got in here on the board, let's go to the workbench. Okay, so here we have an instrument panel right here. If you go and click on it with the select tool, you get your 4 instrument panels. I've covered what the instrument panel is in last video, but basically it is a tool that has multiple. It is a piece that has multiple different selections of tools that you can use to chain them together to create like an instrument panel, a big selection of little miniature buttons and such to control stuff. It's very neat, compact, very nice, and uses compact logic. It has 4 instruments you can choose from, as you can see here. And one of those, which we're focusing on today, under type, is the 7-segment. We're going to go ahead and set these to none to blank them out for the time being. And this is what you get. Now, as you can see, the 7-segment is a Alright, so as you can see, the 7-segment is a numerical, which you see typically on like your calculators, your real-life digital displays, and such. And yeah, so what it does, it creates a numerical value using the different segments by highlighting or lighting up the certain segments to create a numerical value. So you can do everything from 0 to 9 and a few other things in between, but for the most part, its main intention is numerical display. Now, it can be manipulated to show other things. We will get over that in a minute, but for now, we're going to show the basic thing. Now, there's 2 ways you can use this. They're just like the segments I showed earlier. You have your backlight mode. This will turn the light on always, or whether you input a backlight signal. Then you have your display mode. Basically, this means what is the data it's taking in. So even though it's a composite output, it looks at the composite, and depending on the channel you used, the type of channel you use, it will be able to read the data or not. So basically, displayed number means you're taking a numerical value and inputting into there. If you use on-off, it uses different segments to light up and create the shapes that you want. And then the channel here is for determining which channel you are going to use to receive the data. So, display mode tells you which type of data, whether it's green for number or red for the on and off, and which channel it will start with. If it's numerical, that's the only channel you need to worry about. If it's on and off, this is the start channel for which all the other segments light up. Now, if we come and look right here, you will see we have a little display here. This shows you each of the on-off segments. So, segment 1 is the top bar here, 2 is this side one, 3 is here, 4 on the bottom, 5 is this blue one, 6 is this one right here, and in the middle is number 7, I couldn't fit a 7 in there, so I put it right off to the side. So if you're using on-off, these are the channels. So if you put channel 1, segment 1 will be channel 1. If your first channel is channel 5, segment 1 will be channel 5. And then you go up progressively to here. So if this is 5, that means 2 is 6, 3 is 7, 4 is 8, 5 is 9, 6 is 10, and 7 is 11. 7, 11. So they will light in that sequential order from the default channel that you choose in this right here. Now, thankfully, if you're just doing a numerical value and you choose number, you only need to worry about that one channel to fill out the thing. So, for a quick demonstration, as you can see here, I've got all these little flip switches, 1 through 7. And we have that display right there, and we have the channels lit. So I hit 1, you'll see 1 is lit, top one is lit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, as you notice, this has allowed you to create the numerical values through doing this alone as itself. That's handy, but if you just want numerical values, the number is better. But what really brings the on-off to strength is being able to selectively turn on and off things to create different shapes, like a hyphen. No. And this, no, this, yes, there we go. There you go. So you can make an H, lowercase h. Click this. You got a uppercase H, or you could use as an X. Either one works, technically, depending on your application. Turn them all on. You can make an 8. Or you turn off number 7. There's your 0 or an O. We turn this one back on. Turn these. I'm kind of doing this on the fly. Okay, there we go. Or you turn them off and you make a little O. So the real purpose of the on-off signals is be able to make shapes other than numerical values on the display. So you can actually create letters, different symbols, and such for expressions while using the display. You're going to have to go through and pick those out on your own to figure out which you want sitting where. Now, if it's just a static display, I actually suggest a paint thing, but if you're going to do a display, you will probably need to create it with the 7 segment, most likely. Now, that's pretty straightforward. Like I said, each channel, when you go to set this up, now, how I've got this set up here is I have this directly connected to these things. So each of these has the appropriate channel listed to them for the on-off flip switch. So this is how they're listed here. But if you want to do it in a microcontroller, you're going to need at least a composite input, or sorry, composite output. For this, we'll go to the instrument panel. You're probably going to need a, you're going to need your, all right, we're going to make this a little larger. And then we're going to need 7 inputs. 1, 2, 3. And we'll go ahead and just go ahead and name these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just like that. Okay, there's our inputs. We're going to come and distribute these out. We're going to grab a composite right on off right here. Put that into there. Then we are going to change the start channel to the default, which in our case will be 1. Then we will change the channel count to 7. Then from here, we're going to take our channel 1 and put it into the first one. This is our first input. And we will just align them. And there we go. With that, this is set up. Okay, so we have our microcontroller right here. This will simply put, just go to the output. We'll make sure this has the proper settings, but turn it to on and off. We'll grab some toggle buttons for this demonstration. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we will just simply hook these up. Like that. We got all our button inputs there. Then we will go to the composite, and we've already got that hooked up, so I don't need to do that. Just like that. Now, the thing is if you have, you don't have to do the buttons this way, you don't have to do your inputs this way. You can set it up many different ways. Okay, so now for the other method of display, as I demonstrated earlier, is we have the number. I saved this for second because this one's going to be a little bit more complex because I want to show you how to make a display. Now, on its simplest, what it is if you take the appropriate channel, say you change it to a number input into channel 1, and your microcontroller is sending to channel 1, it will just send the numerical value to this thing, to the input. However, thing is, if you want to use numbers, so the other way you can do it is, like I said, the numerical value. So you can put in switch over the type of data over to number, and give it the appropriate channel, and as long as you're transmitting a numerical value on that channel, it will give you the number on display here. However, there is a catch to this, because this only displays 0 through 9. So we get on here, and I put this number in here, and I put a 5. As you can see, it displays a 5. Not a big deal, right? I go to 9. Displays a 9. Now let's go to 11. Displays a 9. We go to 11,000, or whatever this number is, 10 million? Does 9. What if we do 8.9? 9. Or 5.5? 6. How about 5.4? 5. So, as you can see, it literally will only display between 0 and 9. If you go above 9, it just shows 9. If you go into a decimal, it will show you the closest rounding. And even if we go negative, that's all it shows. So, how do we display this for a numerical value? Like in this manner or this manner here. So say I can raise this lever. You can see 189.1, 189.125. So we have those first 4 positions. 150.8, 150.8. You can even see over here 679.5, 679.5. Open that, and you can see it's draining. There. Here is where things get interesting, because this is the math proportion of this. Now, I did a video earlier on function blocks. I did also some on some logics and such. So if you haven't seen those, I was just going back over there, because I'm going to be doing a very big crash course on some of the stuff. If you don't understand it, I have other videos that explain some of those logics a bit better, even if it's still sloppy as this is. Okay, let's get back to the workbench real quick. Okay, first of all, on its simplest, to be able to display a number on one of these, we're going to take this, and like I said earlier, you're going to make sure it stays a number. You get the channel for that slot. You're going to get a microcontroller. You can either create one new or find a blank one. This is up to you. How you do it, that's up to you. But we're going to get the microcontroller, and we're going to change it down to a 2x1 for now. Create 2 nodes. We will have a number input and a composite output. And then in here, we just need a composite write number. Hook these up as this, set the channel to the appropriate channel, 1 being default, and the count is 1. Take the composite straight to there. take this value, and for the time being, we're just going to grab this, put that to there. Or we'll just grab another throttle for demonstration purposes. We'll put this here. We'll hook its numerical value to there. Min value 0, max value 9. See? It moves until it runs out. That's as simple as it gets. Now the fun part. How do we make this display that? Well, first we're going to need a few little fun toys. First, we need to know how many positions we're going, how many channels we're going, or how many decimal places we're going. For what we're going to do is we're going to make 4. So we're going to take this, change the channel count to 4. Then we're going to grab a function block. Actually, we're going to need 4. Here, we're going to need an expression. I'm not going to go over the expression, why it works completely, but the expression does work. So what we're going to put in here, what we're going to look for, is we're going to look for 2 main ones. We are looking for, first, the floor operation. So we're going to go floor, parentheses. Then we need our value, which is the input, which will be x, our variable, x. Then we will need to, for the first one, since we're going 3 positions plus 1 decimal position, so in other words, we're going up to hundreds plus 1 decimal behind, so 0.1, we need to times this one by 10. And then after that, we need to bring in a rather odd one, an operator. We need to do modulo in particular. So we need to modulo 10. Now, for brief thing, what modulo does, it basically takes the number that modulo by, it divides by that, and then outputs the remainder of what's left. So we're taking what's left and dividing it by 10 basically, and after it divides it all by 10, it gives us the remainder. It's not exactly perfect description, but it works for this situation. Okay, this gives us our decimal position. Now we need our ones position. So we're going to take this same expression, Control A, Control C, we're going to copy that, Control V to paste it. Now we're going to change this to, we're going to basically divide by nothing. We're going to multiply nothing. We're just going to take the modulo 10 as it is here. And that's for our ones position. Now, for our tens position, we're going to take this again, bring it in, but instead of multiplying by 10, we're going to divide by 10. And for the last position, for our hundreds position, we're going to divide not by 10, but by 100. And these are the calculations we need for a 3 position plus 1 decimal position numeric value. And then you just take your input number, put it in these. And then, here's the thing. While I am using channel 1 through 4, we will not be using channel 1 through 4 on the display. You'll see here in a second. But we need to make sure we keep these organized correctly. So, our decimal position is going to channel 1. Our 1's position is going to channel 2. Our 10's position is going to channel 3. And our 100's position, channel 4. Now, if you want to go bigger than this, or deeper than this, like farther on the decimals, you would add a 0 for each position. So if you wanted to go thousands, well, you would divide by 1,000. If you want to do 10,000's position, you divide by 10,000, and so on and so forth. You keep going, adding a 0 for each position. And the same thing goes this way, whereas this one multiplies, you would multiply it by the increasing integer. So this one's for the first decimal position is times 10. For the second decimal position, times 100, then 1,000, then 10,000, and so on and so forth. So we've got our channels laid out and what we have planned. Let's get it hooked up. Okay, I gotta make sure I did this correctly. Divide by 10. Okay, floor X. Okay, I need to explain why I used floor. Okay, real quick, because I didn't exactly explain it. Floor. The reason why we are using floor, because as you saw, when you use a decimal number, it ends up rounding it for the input. By using the floor value of the overall number, it gets rid of the decimal position as unnecessary for rounding. So you get the actual proper number. So if you had a value you want to display of 135.9, if you tried to find that ones place, there's a chance it would round it up to 140 and give you a 0 instead of a 9. So the flooring actually takes the number and says, no, we don't want the decimal, we want the whole number. And that's what it gives you. So keep this in mind. This is what the aim for. That is what the floor position, how it's involved in the situation. So basically, it just makes the number clean so that it doesn't round up or down unnecessarily. Okay, now for our displays, for how you want to show this, we are going to grab 2 of these. Two instrument panels. We will put them there. And then we're going to, for this case, we're going to make 3 and 4s are none. It might be easier just to make those and then come in here and copy these and send them over. It's up to you. Then after we do that, so we're going to set up our channels. Now, our decimal position is the first one, so we're going to set this for 7 segment. We're going to set it for number. We're going to do channel in as channel 1 because that's our first one. Now we're going to take, oh wait, no, this is This is instrument 2. My bad. So this needs to be channel 2. See, this is where knowing how your instruments are and what is taking which channel is very important. Okay. Instrument 2, which is this one right here, because it numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Unless you have it mirrored, then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But since we're not mirrored, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we need instrument panel 2 on this one. We're going to change that also to 7 segment. That is on channel 1, so it will stay there. Instrument panel 1 here. We go to 7 segment. This is on channel 4. And number 2, 7 segment, channel 3. Now, you don't have to order the channels like I did. You could have easily made it to where this is channel 1, 2, 3, 4. Could have completely done that as well. So don't think this was the only way you had to do it. Now, we're going to take this, and we're going to take this one, hook it to there. Wait, is this our mic? Yes. I'm going to grab this, hook that up to there. You can ignore that. We still got our throttle hooked up to here. Now so we can make our demonstration, we're going to take our thing and we're going to set this to let's do 500. Or 950. There we go. Yeah, fine. It's fine. It's fine. Let's turn the sensitivity down a little bit. And with that, we have our numbers set up. All right. I painted these so they were a little easier to see. But so we're at 119.7. 119.7. 339.1, 339.1, 512, 512. So as you can see, it works really well, and you can get those to do their job. You could even get it to where you have this. Like, obviously, that's the displays in the game that we have, the digital displays, and there's the one you can make, as I've shown you. You open this up, and you can see 531.7, 531.7 for tank content. So yeah, it's not the most straightforward with the numerical thing. You can also do it in Lua. I'm not messing with that. I've already made Lua videos on my channel. I've already said, not my strongest point. But this is something I am good at, and this is a non-Lua method of creating these as well. And even with the Lua, it would still be somewhat similar. But you could use strings to identify each of the positions and send a number out on a channel and send it out to the appropriate channel for the appropriate numerical value, and it will display it. So the main key is, with the numericals, it's just finding the channel and just giving it 0 through 9. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you have a decimal place or you have a last number where you do want it rounding, then all you need to do is remove the floor. That's in the equation. But for right now, whatever the equation of floor x times whatever position you want to go to, dependent, and then modulo 10 will give you the numerical value you need for that position, and then you just need to send it to the appropriate channel for the appropriate position. It's really that simple. And the on-offs, just send an on signal to the appropriate channel for the on-off inputs, and they will light up in that order like that there. So, yeah, guess quick re-summary. We went over the 7 segments for their displaying of numerical values, as well as being able to light them up via channels to create separate outputs that would be shapes that are not numbers. So if you want to create a number, you can use the numerical input. If you want to create a shape that is not a number, then you would use the on-off channels to create that shape within the 7 segments. Each numerical input for the number input channel goes from 0 to 9, and it will round decimal places. I'll admit I did not cover negatives with this. It seems it will go negative with a negative value, just displaying the negative. I'll cover that later if I can. I might put something in the description about it. But for the time being, as long as you have the absolute number that you're putting in here and you want to break it down to each of the positions, I've showed you how you can break it down into each of those individual positions with the formula they'll be given. And yeah, so I hope this helped. Hope you can make your displays as you want. So, all right. So, hope you enjoyed what you watched. Hope you like what you saw. If you did, you know the deal, you know the spiel. This is Arcades, signing out. Have yourself a good day.